1 million in 24 hours. I mean, like, you say it, you don't really register what that's like, but it's a stonking amount of consoles. I mean, are you confident that you can replicate that in the UK and Europe?
Yeah, it's a stonking number, and it compares really, really well with past console launches, of course. So we're very, very proud of it and grateful to all the gamers who've come out in force to buy PlayStation 4. So the appetite in Europe is very, very strong, and I guess the UK probably most closely replicates the US in terms of that desire to get into new technology very, very quickly. So we will be a big territory for this PlayStation 4 launch, and really, really excited about tonight. Biggest evidence that we're going to have a big success is, of course, the pre-order number. So people who've put down money well in advance in many cases and are clearly committed. So we're honoured to have them as PlayStation fans.
Can you give me a ballpark figure for those pre-orders?
I'm not willing to give out the numbers, but let me say we will be hopeful of setting new records.
Okay.
You know, we would be hopeful of breaking our own records for most successful console launches. You know, that's certainly an opportunity we have and may well prove over the next day or so.
Now, obviously the PS4 is coming out in the UK a week after your nearest and dearest rivals. Do you think that that gives the competition any significant advantage, or do you think that, you know, your lower retail price balances that out?
Well, 7 days is insignificant in the scheme of a project which could be 7 years or more. And I think, you know, if we're looking at launch dates, we're effectively co-timed. So we were 1 week earlier in North America, they're 1 week earlier in Europe. We straddle them, if you like. So I would call that even Stevens, really. So no, I'm not worried about a 7-day timing issue. It was a lot worse last time around. It was more like 16 months. So this is a huge improvement. And price, as you've rightly picked out, is one of the big advantages we have. And I think also being a very, very focused machine that delivers with real excellence for the gamer. So the gameplay, the speed of operation, how quickly you can get into the game. There's lots of the things we plan to deliver upon, like being simple and immediate as a machine. You know, that is really coming through in the reviews now as a big success for PlayStation.
Are there any issues with stock that you foresee, or do you have enough stock to satisfy demand?
Lots of issues with stock. So we've got very healthy stock levels, and the biggest amount of stock we've had, I think, for any launch. But we've also got the highest demand we've ever had. So the good news is there is free stock in the market as of tonight, so it will be possible to walk into a store and pick up a PS4 tomorrow, so Thursday night, Friday. Yeah. And also it will sell out, we expect at least, but more stock will arrive in. So the message to gamers out there is PlayStation 4 is available, but it's in high demand. So, you know, keep an eye on your local retailers and find out when it's coming back into stock. It will be possible to get hold of one at many regular intervals between now and Christmas. Okay.
What do you think are the major lessons that you feel Sony learned from the PS3's launch, and how are you applying them to the PS4's launch?
Well, two big things I'd pick out are timeliness of launch and price point.
Right.
So timeliness of launch we've already covered. We've launched in the right month of the right year as far as we're concerned, so we're very satisfied that in terms of life cycle versus PS3 and indeed of competitive timing that we've done a great job there. And we've hit our own plans. We were focused in on delivering pre-Christmas 2013 and we've done it, so real credit to the hardware team at doing a stunning job. And the second one is at least as stunning in my opinion, in that PS3 did push an awful lot of technological boundaries. It was highly ambitious. The consequence of that, though, was it was relatively highly priced, and it was a lot of hard work to bring it down to today's very attractive levels, actually. So you can see the work that's gone in there over many years. But for PS4 to come out of the blocks at such a keen price point, and yet being such a powerful and effective machine, you know, really is the triumph, I think, of the project so far. So we're absolutely delighted that those two things are big box ticks. But on top of that, you know, we said we'd be the best place to play. We're here for the players. You can't be for the players if you're not also for the developers, because they're the guys who behind the scenes create the games. And you know, it's fantastic to see that they are delivering great games. They're finding it great to work with as a platform. So, you know, that really sets us up on all levels, I think, to have a very successful platform lifecycle.
I mean, I've spoken to a lot of developers, they said that the transition has been incredibly smooth. That was obviously a big box to tick for you as well.
Yes. So you can see how, it genuinely has been a 5-year project to listen, to learn, to really focus on proper solutions to the problems or the opportunities we had. And I think a stunning job has been done in developing and delivering against that.
Now, speaking of the PS3, it's now 7 years into its planned 10-year life cycle, I think. What plans do you have to support the platform over the next 3 years?
Well, we haven't announced any massive new releases for PS3 for next year as yet, although we're 7 days away from Gran Turismo 6. So, there still is support that's live as we speak today, and it's hitting the best ever price points right now. So you can get a lot in the way of PS3 for under £200 now. So that remains a very compelling offer. The reality is it will start to thin out the number of games coming, and there's no first-party announcements out there just yet of significance. However, I would point out that some tremendously exciting new franchises are going to come to PS3. So the likes of Watch Dogs, the likes of Destiny are both planned for PS3. So we would expect FIFA to continue to come on PS3, for example, for some years to come, and Call of Duty. FIFA came out on PS2 this year and PSP. So I think you won't necessarily see all of the brand new things come to PS3, but it still looks like a steady stream of content that makes it well worth buying into now if the price point suits you. The catalogue of games obviously is second to none, so it's still a very viable platform. But PS4 will start to, I suppose, stretch things and be more future-proof and take gameplay on that bit further.
At Gamescom, you announced a price drop in the PS Vita. Has that had a good effect on your sales?
Yes, I think a few things are working for Vita right now. First of all, it's a lot more keenly priced than it was a year ago. You can pick a Vita up in the UK below £150 relatively easily, so that's really exciting. It now proves itself as a tremendous companion to PS4, and of course that was always part of the vision when it was developed, because PS4 was in its early stages. So the remote play feature has surpassed our expectations, actually, having got to try it recently. We're delighted with the results there, so we see it at least having a life even as that role alone. And then of course we brought new software to market, and innovative titles like Tearaway in particular last week has been a big hit, reviewed tremendously well. So it's a standalone console, both for games on card and increasingly games consumed digitally, and it's a fantastic companion device to PS4 at a much more compelling price. So a lot of things are in place to make it have a good life ahead of it.
Now, are there any plans to bring the Vita Slim and Vita TV to the UK at this point?
There's no firm plans, as in we haven't decided we will or decided a date, but clearly we look with great interest on how those devices do in Japan, and they both offer great advantages, a good step on in certain ways. PlayStation Vita TV for me could be a great companion to PlayStation 4. But we don't have plans in place just yet to land in Europe, but we'll watch with interest and see what we can learn.
Okay, and finally, Gaikai, the game streaming is meant to trial in the US in 2014. What are the main challenges with bringing that to your platform?
Well, Gaikai can enable PlayStation experiences to come to many different devices over time. So PlayStation 4 may well be the key launch device that the services are brought to, but there's loads of technological challenges. It's pioneering in its nature, and we expect that what we land will iterate a fair bit before it starts to become a real mainstream experience. But the vision there is to bring more PlayStation experiences to more people across more devices, and of course in many more regions as we go forward. So it's a watch this space. It's a real experiment for us. We do believe the technology has got some great inherent advantages, but it's very early days to talk about what's that really going to look like and how is it going to evolve, but it's definitely an exciting space for us.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.